Protecting the environment is becoming more important with every day that passes, but that's not enough. We also have to protect the animals that live in the environment. And here at the Healesville Wildlife Sanctuary, they're not only protecting the animals and birds, they're letting them go.
It's at the foothills of the Great Dividing Range, within the shadows of dripping tree ferns and towering rainforests, alpine and river walks, views and wildlife. The Healesville Sanctuary gives us a chance to see some of Australia's most unique wildlife in its natural environment, and many of them roam freely around. Whether they're sitting and staring or waddling about, they all seem to flourish in a haven that would surely be like paradise. Over 200 species of native animals that get to do exactly what they want without interference. Some of them exist in a specially prepared environment, like the Nocturnal House, and Vicky found out about it from one of the sanctuary's rangers.
Well, the Nocturnal House was built to actually house animals that are basically nocturnal, that they're active at night, and so normally people wouldn't see them in the park. And this way we actually have a reverse cycle of light, so in the Nocturnal House you'll see animals active in their normal periods.
What sort of animals are kept here?
We keep a variety of animals, mainly possums and gliders. We also had dasyurids, the carnivorous marsupials as well, and one rodent is also kept in the Nocturnal House.
So how do you feed so many different animals?
We actually collect the food from a central point, from the food room, and it's brought down here, and the food's actually prepared within the Nocturnal House in the service area. And there's quite a variety within the diets of the different animals. We have the sort of the vegetarian, basically vegetarian animals that eat a lot of fruit and vegetables in their diet, as well as we have the carnivores, the animals that eat a lot of meat. And so all the food's prepared here and then fed out at different times of the day, so the animals don't actually get used to a particular feeding time. That sort of creates more activity within the displays.
Are any of the animals here endangered?
Yes, we have a number of species on display that are endangered. We've got the leadbeater's possum, the long-footed potteroo, the mountain pygmy possum. There are a few. We also have the tiger quoll is another species that's basically extinct on the mainland. They suspect there's still a few around, but there's a lot more of those in Tasmania.
What sort of research do you do to help the animals?
At the moment, there's 3 projects going on. And they consist of mainly looking at reproductivity in those animals. We're working with the long-footed potteroos and the burramies, the mountain pygmy possums, as well as we've been doing some work with brush-tailed phascogales, which that has involved actually measuring the growth of pouch young.
So how does your research actually help the animals?
Well, it helps us increase our actual knowledge of the animal, which can be in turn used to understand their life history in the wild, which obviously helps to determine what they need in the wild, you know, what sort of habitat they need, what food they use, and also, you know, what the life history, how long they live for, and that all really helps our understanding of them and protection of animals in the wild.
Do you bring any sick or injured animals here?
Yes, the sanctuary gets quite a lot of animals come in, between about 300 to 600 animals a year. We don't actually deal with them in this area. We have a special area within the sanctuary that looks after the sick and injured animals.
How long do they usually stay here?
That varies quite a bit depending on what is wrong with the animal. Sometimes we even get animals brought in that there's nothing wrong with them. You know, they might have even been stunned or something. A bird might have hit a glass pane, and they're released very quickly. And animals are released back into areas that they're actually found in.
Do usually the animals have much trouble surviving once they've been re-released?
Well, we only release animals that are quite healthy. And if you release them back into the area they came from, unless there was a particular reason why they were pushed out of that area initially, they've got quite a good chance of surviving.
What advice would you give to people who find a sick or injured animal?
Well, it's best not to keep the animal for any length of time and try and look after yourself. You either take it to a place like Healesville Sanctuary, or even to a vet if you don't have access to a place like this, and for a vet to at least check the animal out to see if it's all right. There's also animal shelters around, which are another place that you can take animals to for care. But you shouldn't hang on to them yourself to look after them.
Okay, well, why are sanctuaries like Healesville so important?
Well, apart from the research side, which I've talked about, they're also very important as an educational place, and obviously for people to come and view what native animals there are in Australia. I think even a lot of Australians aren't aware of what's about, and it gives them a chance to learn a bit more about the animals and have a better understanding for what happens in the bush.
Healesville Sanctuary, a home for these cuddly creatures. It has to be perfect.
It's got to be perfect.
And judging from the look of that little critter there, I think he was pretty happy.
I think so.
Pretty perfect place. In fact, we're still looking for our cameraman, who's, I think, still at